So here is an unpopular opinion for you. The life you have designed it all yourself. If someone had said that to me when I worked abroad in a psychologically very damaging workplace, I would probably have ripped their head off. Still, I think it is true. You've basically created the life you live right now through a series of decisions and non-decisions. And each step of that way might not feel very important, but it still leads you in one direction over another. And that is your responsibility. Which also means that if you want to change the direction of your life, it's also your responsibility. If by now you're thinking, help, get me out of here, I want to watch another video about cozy Christmas and Danish hygge, I want you to give me another chance. Because there is change to be made. You can design a better life if you want it. If by now you're frantically looking for a silver lining, I've got one for you. Because the thing is, you can actually design your life the same way you would redecorate your house. And I have been down an interior design rabbit hole these last few months. I have always loved interior design. In fact, I would say I'm pretty obsessed with interior design. And that led me to think about the concept of carpe diemology when I invented it as a design concept. So the idea is that when you create your carpe diem life, you are actually designing it. So it's a lifestyle design process. The whole concept of redecorating your house is in it's in the redecorating and the redesigning. So you already have something, but then you decide, what do I want to keep? What do I want to discard and replace with something else? And this is very related to the video we did about envy and this whole exercise about, would I want to swap my entire life with someone else's? Here you can imagine instead a kind of tabula rasa, the empty chalkboard, and then you fill in things. So if you imagine your life like a room you were redesigning and you were to pull everything out, so leaving only the walls, and then we think of the walls as the things you cannot change, because there are elements of your life that you cannot change, at least not right now. You could always move houses, and that means that in theory at least you can also basically change everything about your life. But the idea is that we leave some constraints. So for now we are redecorating the same house, we are redesigning the same life. But still we have a lot of leeway. We have so much freedom to design it exactly the way we want to do. And if you were to ask people who advise people on minimalism, they would say keep only that which is useful to you or which makes you happy or which is very pretty. And I am all for that kind of thinking when it comes to your life as well. So of course, there has to be some kind of practicality to it. There are things we do in life that are not the most joyful things, that are not making us ecstatic on a daily basis, but we still have to do them. We have to maybe commute to work, we have to wait in the pickup line to get our children. Whatever it is that we have to do, those are the things that are just useful if we were to think of them in terms of objects in a house. So they're the basics, they have to be there. But then in addition to that, we have so much freedom to think, what do I actually want to put into my life? And how do I want to feel? Because when we speak about goal getting, it is so easy to get caught up in achievement and what we want to do with our time. But I also want you to think about how you want to feel. And I think in this redecorating process we've been through in the house over the last couple of months, we've redecorated 2 rooms and we're in the process of redecorating more rooms. What makes the largest difference right now is that I've begun thinking, instead of thinking in terms of constraints and practicality and what do we already have, I'm thinking from this tabula rasa, the empty chalkboard experience, that how could I use the rooms if I were to start all over again? What use do I want to have out of the rooms? And that is in terms of how do I want to feel in those rooms. So right now we are changing a room that was previously called the office or the library, and it's my husband's office also. And it's a bit of a funny room because it has a lot of functions, and it's also a room that everybody has to pass through all the time. And then I figured out I need to also be able to use this room for another purpose. I need to be able to use this room in the evenings to create a really dark, condensed space to like up the production of melatonin. So if I want to escape the television in the evening, which I do sometimes, which is very healthy for you also, then I could use this room in another way. So I'm working on creating like almost a cave in a section of that room. That's a long process. But the idea is, what do you want in your life? How do you want to feel? You can basically pick and choose, because a lot of us default to negative emotions because evolution, saber-toothed tigers, all that, you've heard it before if you've been listening to my channel. But how do you want to feel must be a conscious decision, because when it is not, we default to those negative thinking patterns. And if you want to feel calm, if you want to have this feeling of hygge, then you need to decide that, and you need to take steps in your life to promote that kind of experience. Basically, your life is your experience of your thoughts. I heard it said, I don't remember who said it, but that our life is basically a series of thoughts, and then it's the emotions that arise from them. It didn't say it exactly like that, but that kind of explanation of it makes sense to me. So our thoughts about our life create how we feel about our life, and the thoughts and the feelings together are our experience. And you can decide, I want to feel happier. And I know a lot of people say that you shouldn't directly pursue happiness, because happiness is better achieved if you go about it more indirectly. I'm not sure that is true, actually. I think that it is more imperative to be happy. It is an obligation, because our mood and our state in life affects other people. And if we are not happy, it creates ripple effects of negativity to other people. But if we are happy, if we design a life that is happier, then that affects people more positively. I want you to dream big. I want you to go to the drawing board and envision a life that you feel would truly make you happy. As we're going into 2025, I want you to think about what you want to leave behind and what you want to bring into 2025. I want you to think of entering 2025 as a moving house. I want you to think of it as a completely new start for your life. What are you bringing with you, and what will be new additions? I think it's so life-giving to think of our lives in that way. And that is also the reason I love New Year's, because it's this natural reset. Everybody agrees that this is a reset period in our lives, and that we get this fresh new beginning. Obviously, you can give yourself a reset any day. I just want to make sure that you actually do. That's it for today, friends. Until next time, Carpe Diem.